worry. Welcome. God's put the two of us together because He knows how to help you get your act together for healing. He knew how to get my act together to help my healing. It goes along every single day. Here are some of the aspects of it that God works with you, and it is so reassuring. Welcome to Healing Aspirations on our YouTube. I'm Dr. Bob Welkman of the Christian Laity Foundation, which was created by God, by God's instructions, in order to help you learn the aspects of healing that are required and to support you in it, to help you learn it, to teach it to you, and to support you in the process. And off we're going on a guarantee. God knows what He's doing. He knows how to get us to get our acts together. You ready? Ready. We're looking at the footladder of Notes Divine, which is from, or which you'll find on our website, the Christian Laity Foundation. Laity is spelled L-A-I-T-Y, ChristianLaityFoundation.org. And this is the footladder of Notes Divine, which are God's messages to me over a period of over 12 years as a healing curriculum that He has laid out. Off we go. The first rule that you need to be assured of is in the 17th verse. It's a single sentence. The 17th verse on 7/6/2000. The end of the world is not in sight. You're guaranteed the time is always there for you to get your healing, to get your act together. He's not going to say, you got 2 seconds, and if you can't do it, goodbye, Charlie, you're out of luck. It doesn't happen. God does not end this world. God ends the staying in this world of His children because this world is not of God. He states that very, very clearly, even in Scripture. He states, you're in this world, but you're not of it. You're not of this world. I mean, God didn't create. He doesn't create things that we're not of. You're in this world, but you're not of it. Therefore, the end of the world is not in sight. You don't have a God who's going to say, time, you're out of luck, sorry, an eternity in hell. Forget it. It doesn't happen. The end of the world is not in sight. Those who say you have a limited amount of time in order to get to God, and if you don't get to Him, you are an eternity of burning hell, etc. Sorry, the end of the world is not in sight. Not in sight. It doesn't happen. God knows how to heal you. So there's a first rule, that you've got the time to be able to throw the sponge in on the falseness of this world that we think of, that we think is real, to find out it ain't necessarily so. And what is necessarily so is the world that you are a part of and that you live in. And God can get you there. And He's going to talk about this as we go along in this. Second verse, number 18, on July 11th, 2000. He is going to now talk to you about a very important aspect of healing. He's going to talk to you about love. He's going to talk to you about love. Love is different. Whoops. Love is different. I wonder if God is saying that because we think that we know we think we know what love is. And God is saying to, no, love is different. The human head can think sex is love. The human head can think what other people should do for you, that's love. We have all kinds of definitions of love from the human head. But God says love is different. It is present in many ways. It is present in many ways, and we don't think of the many ways. It's present if we simply want to do something for somebody. It's present if we have no desire for somebody to do something back for us, just to give things away. And it can happen in so many different ways. With ourselves, not to have any expectation of how we should do something. Just try to do it, or to ask God, Lord, help me to be loving, and find out the way God says that one is loving, not necessarily the way we say that it's loving. Because if I were to give some kind of definition to love as to what God is having me experience over my now 78 years, love is simply the desire to ask God to help me do something for others without expecting anything whatsoever in return, nor needing anything in return. Not to have somebody else to make me feel good, to make me feel lovable. I don't need it. Love for me is I am lovable because God has enabled me to feel that inside myself, that I am lovable because I'm feeling God's presence as me. And that is lovable. And so love is present in many ways, however He's going to touch us, in many ways. Love is different. It is present in many ways. What you would have would not necessarily be. What you're thinking with that human mind would not necessarily be love. And so part of this process of healing is to make you aware how to set you up to be able to get the feeling of the root of healing and what's required. And listen to this two-word sentence which ends that one. But approve. What you would have would not necessarily be, but approve. He's defining love. But approve. All you need to do is approve. But approve. Approve of yourself, approve of others, approve of God. But approve. You're not making judgments. You're recognizing that God is in charge of the process. He knows the way. He knows you don't. He's not going to end the world on you. And He's saying, just approve of where you're at and where other people are at. Don't make criticisms of yourself or others because you don't know how to do it. But approve. Understand that everybody is lost. Love is the understanding that when things go wrong, it's because we don't know how to do them right. It's not that we don't want to, we don't know how to. Why? Because we haven't yet been able to give that over to God. God has to teach us to give things over to Him. If you're having an argument with your spouse, God needs to teach you, to nudge you, to say, Lord, let me see my spouse as you see my spouse. Let me handle this as you would handle this. This is love. The only place that you can get it is from God, because the human mind doesn't do it. You're catching on to some of the needs now for how your peace and your healing is gained, some of the qualities that God is teaching us. Now I'll read the one on love once again to try and keep it together for you. Love is different. It is present in many ways. What you would have would not necessarily be. But approve. Just approve. No judgment. Just approve. Know that all is lost. Forgive them, Father. They don't know what they're doing. Jesus on the cross. Forgive them, Father. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. This is love. They don't know what you're doing to love yourself. Know that you did something negative, and I do that every day myself. But I'm learning that God helps me to catch that you did something negative. And I turn, Lord, Let me see this now from you. Let me make amends as you want me to make them. Let me handle this however you want to do it. That's a crucial step in healing. And then God goes on to another single sentence, number 19, on July 11th, also 2000. Don't mind rain in your face. Don't mind rain in your face. That you're being cleansed, that a healing is coming, that the rain is washing you of all the falseness that was there. Don't mind. Don't worry about God taking something away from you, because the replacement is so much more precious than what He's taking that you don't miss it. Don't mind rain in your face. Don't mind the cleansing rain, the new thing that you're being turned into. Don't mind it. Not necessary. You don't have to worry about what's coming, because it's of God who loves you. And then on to number 20, verse 20 of the Footletter of Notes Divine. The next thing that God says to you, I must return to you. I must return to you the house of God where you were. Except He says it poetically, where were you? I must return to you the house of God. Where were you? Number one, how do you get back to the house of God? I must return to you the house of God. We can't do it. The relief that we get from knowing that God, number one, tells you the world's not going to end before I can heal you. Stop worrying about it. It's not necessary. I've got it all in control. And I'm teaching you how to be able to love, because that's the stuff that's been in your way. And don't mind the fact, don't worry that you're going to get a cleansing with something more precious than what you've got now, and that's that the house of God. I am returning to you the house of God, the place where you live in such joy, where you were. You have been there. You are there even now. It's just you're not aware of it. And I must return to you the awareness of this being inside you as part of you. Are you catching on? Can you see the sequence of this? We'll play this whole sequence over again. So, you've heard the sequence. You've heard the necessity of it. And finally, I will read something purely poetical for you. This is the outcome. In pure poetry, good luck. In the sunlight of dawn, when all is awake, the cleansing. When quiver the rose, God's presence. The lark doth sing, there's joy. And amends doth fall, you're clearing up your life. And amends doth fall on sprinkled ground. Doth spring arise, the new dawning, the new life on fallen ground where you had fallen. Hope you like that poetry. I had to read it. It's just so sweet. That's number 21. Just enjoy the sound and the rhythm of it. Bless your hearts. Toodaloo.